All right, so here we go. We got another interview for you, but this time it's somebody specialist. Number 14, Ryan Regis joining us here. And Ryan, the bad news is the knee just isn't going to make it on Saturday night, is it?
Correct. Yeah. Still a little wobbly. Maybe if it was on August 1st, it'd be good to go. But no, looks like I'll be hanging out with you that day.
And that, my friends, is the good news that Ryan's going to be joining us in the booth, giving his expert commentary, and does a great job. You and I had a chance, we were chatting a little bit here before we started the interview. You and I just hit it off that first night, man, and we had known each other. We saw each other on the field and said hi and high fived and all that in the past, but never had a chance to really spend some time together. You and I hit it off really great. I think we did.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. I mean, the camaraderie that we had with one another, the bouncing off, whatever. I mean, you're great at what you do, and I mean, you just let me willy nilly do what I needed to do, or at least wanted to do, was just have fun and listen to the sound of my voice as I am now. And no, it was great. I got the inside of the game, and you got the voice for the on field. It was perfect. It was great. I loved it. We loved it. It was fun.
I have said dig route several times in my sleep, according to my wife. So from that
Good.
night,
Well, you know what it is now. Now we're good to go.
darn straight, I know what a dig route is. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and we've had a good thing. Again, like I said, I'm torn because I know you're an athlete, and I want you playing, and I want you to do what you want to do. But oh man, I'm excited to have you up there. We're gonna have a great show. I've kind of teased it in some of the interviews, but let's talk about it here. Things that we're adding. We're going to have 4 different camera angles on this from the field. We're going to have the usual one kind of that goes back and forth from our perspective. We're going to have 2 on the field that shoot either way. And I'm super excited about this. And I think most of the guys I've talked to, including you, we're going to have a wireless cam on that's going to get on that field when we score touchdowns and things happen, and going to be able to get right up in the face of these players after big plays. I'm super excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're killing me too because all this stuff coming from a player standpoint. I mean, I'm already missing the chip, and it's like "Ugh, this sucks really bad. And now you're putting all this effort and all this care and the players in order to show their passion and bring it home, make it a little bit more the audience a little bit more involved. You're killing me, man. I want to be a part of that. It sounds so good, and coming from a player's perspective, I appreciate every second of it, man, and everything you guys are doing. You're driving me crazy trying to pick one or the other. You're killing me, man.
I know, I know,
It's a
I
good
know. I
problem
hear
to
you.
have.
I hear you. Well, I think it's gonna be a great game. We're gonna do an hour, about an hour and a half pregame. We're gonna have my brother Steven, who did the color commentary that game where you were playing, and so it's gonna be really good. He's gonna give some insights to that. You and I are gonna have some on-field activities. We'll be scattered in and out. Of course, we got to get ready for other things, but hopefully get some player interviews that night. I'm super excited about that. So it's going to be a really good night. I'm really looking forward to it. Here's the big thing. As much as I want a lot of people streaming this and want them that can't get to Nampa, but we got a butts in the seats, man. And I've asked
I
the other
agree.
players about this, but maybe you could talk about it a little bit too. What does it mean for you, Ryan, when you come out of that tunnel and the fog is going, the lights are down, and you look up and you see a packed house?
It means a lot. I mean, like my first professional kick, it was a miss. And I told my PAT, and I told the coaches, I told my friends, I told my family and everything like that. Even one of my coworkers said is like it's all nerves. I mean, it just means so much. You haven't had this since a lot of us since college, and
Yeah.
a lot of us even further than that, high school. That was one of the things I missed, and I was overwhelmed by it. So I just shanked it right to the left. But after that, I calmed down and was finally able to make my 1 for 2. But it's amazing. You're never going to get it again. And I'm going into 36-year-old, 37-year-old next year, going into this. The reason why I went into this and I risked my knees, if you will, to doing this is the wife and I agreed. You're never going to get this again.
That's right.
What's being held here, what Boyce's, or in this case Nampa, is holding for us. You're never going to have it again. So the wife said, "Good luck to you. Hope you don't get hurt, but it's worth it either way. It's awesome." So it's a different environment. You're never going to get it, and once it's gone, it's almost gone for good.
For sure, for sure. I listen. I just turned 58, and there's things I know that I wanted to do. It's probably not going to happen, or if they do, they're going to be limited. But I totally understand that. It happens. So, all right. I've asked some of the players this, and I think, it's as a reporter, which is part of what I do, trying to get answers to some of these questions. You ask the usual questions. Is this game any different? And as athletes that are preparing for a game, most of them say, no, it's not. It's the same thing. But I want to ask you, you're not, is it different? I mean, it's just in my mind, and again, you and I talk about, I'm not an athlete like you are. I did some wrestling and when I was in high school, but I'm not an athlete. I'm a broadcaster. Is it different when you're going, that everything's on the line? This is it. You either go home a champion or you don't go home a champion.
Yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, you try to treat it a little not different, but it's just what it is. There's a lot riding on it, so I hope the players see this after the fact. But one of the first things coach said to us when he picked his few players to make his roster, I was like, "Hey, we were first, and then the next year we were second, and then we were third. I mean, we keep on going back, so we need this." And thank God we actually made it back to the chip. Coming from a player's perspective, I mean, again, the championship was 4 years ago. You're telling me I have to make another 4 years, go ahead and do it again, or at least another three, and I might lose. Again, I'm 36, man. I don't got time for that. I'm going to be 40 by the time that we might make it again.
Right.
It's not a thing. And then, who knows? The Horsemen are doing so well. I've heard dirty rumors that we might even be moving up or
Mm.
into different leagues. So now you got tougher teams
Yep.
that you might be going up again. There's so many arena teams and arena leagues that I've been looking at the last few years because I may or may not have had an announcer think, put it in my head. There's like, this might be a thing for the long term. That'd be fantastic. So I might be doing my homework on other teams as well. But I've been looking at the CIF. I've been looking at the Eastern Leagues. The AFL's coming back, my
Right.
old stomping ground. That's kind of what I'm thinking in the near future. The Horsemen are doing so well. Maybe we go up.
Yep.
Maybe we go down. There's just so much that's happening in the Arena League. And CBS actually signed with the CIF, I think, to host them
Right.
on national broadcasting for their championship game. I mean, there's just so much going on. So yes, you don't want to treat it any different because, say, your nerves hit and you might end
Right.
up miss that first kick or what have you. So you try not to teach any different. But at the same time, another 4 years, guys aren't going to wait for that. So from what little I can give to you that the Horsemen are doing to prepare, um, very relaxed, very relaxed. Everybody's kidding, everybody's joking. Um, try not to hit each other too much because it's been a few
Sure.
weeks since they came back and did anything. So we're kind of playing with that. We're trying to flirt with, well, we need to stay strong, we need to stay tough, especially with the team who's been playing 4 times this week or this month rather. But at the same time, we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to overkill us both mentally and physically. So yes, it's a major difference, huge difference. But you got to keep it all together. You got to keep that excitement and that compassion together.
So that's a great segue, and I'm glad you brought that up. I've kind of flirted with the question with some of the other players in my interviews with them. I didn't want to get into it a whole lot, but I'm going to ask you straight up. The Horsemen have been off for a few weeks. The Storm have played consecutive games, so there's advantages to being off, especially a team like ours we had several players sick, several players hurt,
Yep.
and we saw Braden in that game where he was literally limping off the field after every kick, right? So
Yeah.
there's advantages to having some time off, but there's disadvantages too. How do you look at that as a player, and do you think this is good, or is this something that the Horsemen are going to have to overcome this week?
It's good for the older guys that know the game. It's bad for the younger guys that,
Mm-hmm.
like I saw your interview with Braden not too long ago. It's a little rough for them because they haven't lived through it yet. So it's good for the older guys. We've prepared for this. We know what it is. Yes, it's different, but we got to keep that discipline. The younger guys are a little bit more excited. I can go ahead and kick through it. I can run through it. I could do whatever you can through it. So it might cause further injury down the road. So what little information I can give you is that Dunn's back. Shoddy's back. We got our two big guys right there.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be healthy. I do know that you're missing two players. I'm not going to tell you who the other one is. The first one's me. because I haven't confirmed it from the horse's mouth yet. Nah, but aside
pun,
from that,
pun, pun unintended or
got it.
intended, either way.
But, so I'll
well,
find out that tonight.
well, we
But
did. They did announce that Nick is gone. Nick Cade is gone. So that was
okay,
announced that he did go to Brazil.
okay, so you did hear that. So that was going to be the other
Well,
player.
that was on it was on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Well,
So yeah, he's gone, unfortunately. So, but I'm going to be honest with you. Great player. Love having him on. We saw him run back a couple of touchdowns, but I think we got some other powerhouses. Rashad is, he sounds like he's mentally and physically healed and ready for this game from what I'm seeing from him on social media.
yeah, he's back 100%. Dunn's back 100%. Our team that was at what 12 or 13 that day,
Yeah.
that's not a thing anymore. Like I'd be fighting for a roster spot if this championship were to come up. If I was healthy, I know I would be. So yeah, we're down Nick, we're down me. Aside from that, the horsemen are here. The horsemen's strong, and
Yeah.
it sounds like there's no to limited injuries, and everybody's just mentally healthy. They're having the time of their lives right now. They're ready for this.
And then the other side of it too, we talked about that continuity, right? Of still playing every week, but the Storm had to fight a hard battle. And I know you had a chance. You said you're going to review that film tonight. I was there. I got to call that game. And so it was a lot of fun. I'm telling you, it was one of the weirdest games I've ever called in my life. And listen, I've done roller derby, so it doesn't get much weirder than that. But I was literally on the concourse, and people were coming up as I'm on the air asking me, "What's the Wi-Fi password?
Oh yeah,
Can you play this song?" I'm like, I'm broadcasting. Can you please? So, but I will tell you, the folks are Redmond. Team aside, the folks in Redmond just super nice. I really enjoyed my stay there, and it was. But I will tell you this: if you're hungry in Redmond, you better darn well eat before 10 o'clock because everything shuts down. So it was crazy. But anyway, I digress. So so we're talking about them playing, a couple weeks in a row, keeping that continuity, but that was a tough game. And the Skyhawks, they were at one point, they were up enough points. They needed to win by 4. They eventually they ended up being behind altogether in points, but they put a battle on them. So now the Storm are having to kind of recoup from that too, right? And that could be a detriment.
yeah, because now you're looking at players that were kind of going with us. I mean, well, even our one of our first games that we had with this against the Storm. The Storm only played one game, I think, within like 30 days or something like that. So it's literally flip-flopped.
Yeah.
The difference is that I think the Horsemen are a better team. I'm not trying to be biased, it's just the truth right now. I mean, I am biased, but I'm trying to be truth. So yeah, so now you deal with those 4 weeks worth of getting banged up, trying to win. You said they had to win by 4, so now they're putting in more effort, more time, more pain in order to play through this, So good job on the Storm for winning. But I mean, one of the first things that Coach Reynolds told us was like, we're not intentionally trying to blow anybody out this year, but we're going for points because it's happened before. So it's just one of those things that you have to play for. And someone's very conservative. I mean, I'll kneel down in the fourth quarter. I'm the guy that does field goals in Madden online. I'm very conservative whenever I play. So yeah, they're going to be banged up. You would assume they would be banged up. You'd assume that they'd be a little worn down, and now they have to go over to Boise to get to play against a team that kicked their butt not too long ago. Well, yeah, we're gonna win, we're gonna beat them, but man, they're struggling, man. It's gonna hurt if they want that W.
Yeah, for sure. And you brought up just another good point too. They got to make a trip over, so they either come over Friday night, right, or they come over Saturday morning. I drove it. It's a 5.5 hour drive. There ain't a whole lot to see between here and Bend. That's beautiful once you get to that Bend Redmond area, but between here and there,
pretty,
it's high desert and there's not much to see. There's nowhere to stop. So that's part of it too. They're going to have to travel. So again, advantage to the Horsemen.
Yep.
So let me ask you this question, and it's again, you want to be very careful, not want to give away any gameplay. So let's talk kind of generically, 30,000-foot view. Either team, what does it take to win a championship game? Right? Not talking about the strategy, but what does it take coming in to win a championship game? You've played on teams, and right? You've played high caliber teams. What does it take to win a championship or a big game, whether it's a bowl game or something like that?
Yeah, kind of go back to what I said earlier. I mean, you can't have the excitement go to your head, or else then you start making stupid PAT mistakes. You really got to keep it calm, but at the same time, I mean, they come for the chip too.
Right.
So you have to be aggressive and you have to have that killer mindset as well. Um, it's really, really tough. This is the last game of the year. It's like I said, I mean, we may be going to different leagues, we may not, we may have new teams, we may not. I mean, who knows? There's a lot going into it. This might be it for a lot of us. In fact, I know it for uh, never mind. I know it might be it for a few more
Yeah.
players, going into the future or whatever. So, um, just us older guys, man, we got to play it like we're retiring. This is it. I mean, we're going to retire after this chip. Towards in, if we don't end up winning, well, then can my body take up another year? So what it takes is just a lot of patience, playing really, really smart, and yeah, taking care of yourself, taking a lot of care for yourself because, like I said, a lot of these guys are going to be playing through injuries. These guys are coming to us hurt and hungry for that win. So yeah, we've had 30 days to go ahead and keep off. And like I said, smiles and happiness and rainbows and everything like that on the horseman side. You got to dial it in, man. Too. You got to bring in that violence. It feels good being at practice. You're just kind of coasting or whatever. Helmets on only in some cases. You got to bring the violence because they're coming and they're hurt and they're hungry. They want a piece of us and they want to embarrass us in front of our fans. They really want that.
I've heard this. Other players talk about it. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I've heard NASCAR drivers talk about it. Big events. There can be butterflies. There's a lot going on,
Yeah.
but especially football players, when you do that first hit, does that kind of go away? Like, if there's a lot of excitement built up, this is, especially, we're going to be on the field. There's going to be a lot of lights from our production. There's going to be, you and I are going to have this great, pregame table set up. There's going to be a lot of distractions. But when you crack that first helmet, does that kind of help dial you in a little bit and focus on the game at hand?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It does it in twofold. A, receiving and the given. I was like, A, receiving is like, okay, I gotta step up my game because I survived. And he's now parring up. He's like thinking, okay,
Right.
that's how much it takes to go ahead and at least push him back, keep him neutral or him to hit me. And the second thing, if you're lollygagging and you're not used to getting hit, or say you're soft for the last 30 days and you don't really know what that feels like, yeah, it's a rude awakening. It's time to wake up and it's time to play ball. So absolutely, the first hit means a lot. I think everybody should get popped really, really good in the first quarter. Just kind of wake up, coming from a kicker's perspective.
Sure.
But yeah, it means a lot and it really does wake you up. Everybody needs it, and it's really hard when you try to practice towards that too because you don't want to hurt each other because
Right.
we all have lives outside of this. I mean, I've done so much overtime this last 30 days because yeah, I'm not playing. It's unreal. A lot of us have to think about that as well. We want to go 100%. We want to go at least 80, 90%. But I mean, you need a good pop and you hope you get it in practice because God help you if you get into the game.
Yeah. I want to go back to something you said. You talked about for some players, this may be their last year.
Mhm.
And we've seen this in other athletes. And as they get towards that twilight of the career, and maybe you can put on a Washington Wizards jersey for a couple more years, but you're not going to be you're not going to be, Air Jordan, like you were before. Does it make it easier to walk away from the game or harder to walk away from the game if you hoist a trophy at the end of the year?
Well, in high school, I lost in the state championship at Boise State. I was injured when we got the Fiesta Bowl win, and now with the Horsemen, I'm injured with the the bowl game. So for me personally, it's a little hard for me to say because I've never actually been able
Yeah.
to hoist one up. Rec league I did, but
Right.
it's not the same. Um, to walk away, I would assume that to be a little bit easier because you did what you needed to do. This is professional football. You got your professional win. You got your professional ring, and I'm hoping I get mine. But at least for mine, it's almost like a second place for me because I'm not putting in that effort for myself. So for me, it's hard. I thought I'd
Right.
retire after this. I finally did my thing, but I think I'm going to come back next year and at least try to be a part of the team on the field when it happens. So I would assume it's a little bit easier. You came, you conquered, and you pillaged. You
Yeah.
got all of it. But if you lose, and you're so close, You want that win. You want that ring. You want that. You want that victory. You want your fans to see it. Your
Right.
family to see it. So yes, I would assume it's easier to walk away. It's like, wife, I did it. It's time to go home. I'm done. I can finally pay attention to you kids. But it's hard to say. Unfortunately for me, I've never really done.
Yeah, I get it. No, I understand. And it's the same for me too. Like I wouldn't be able to understand, right? And so it's an interesting question, and hopefully we can answer that this weekend with the Horsemen hoisting the trophy. And I'm going to try and be as neutral as possible in this game. I'm going to be honest with you when I'm trying to call this, because I want to be fair to both the Storm and this is, this is the big game. And so, but yes, I'm a Horseman. I want to see the Horsemen win, and I want that as well too. I'd love to see them to get that, and I would love to be a part of it up in that booth. I'm just telling you, if we win this game, you're going to be to my left. Hopefully you work out your right arm, because I might be punching you in your arm, man, if we win this thing. So I'm just telling you, be ready. So
I'm all ready. It's that first hit.
That's it. That's it. So what do you think we see on Saturday night, in this game between these two opponents? High scoring. I mean, low scoring. Do you think you think it's going to be a shootout? What do you think? What do you think? Put on your future glasses, my man, and tell me what you think.
Well, like I said, I was going to check out the game earlier today when I go to the Horseman practice today and kind of see what I can do to evaluate with the coaches and what they're seeing as well as what I'm seeing. So it's a little hard for me to say, but if they're injured, blow them away as fast and as hard as you can. Just beat them to a pulp, because they'll want to end up trying to come back or try to risk themselves to get in. If they're healthy, I would assume the Storm, because they're a violent team and they're very fast. I would assume the Storm is just going to crush us, or at least try to crush us in that first quarter. They're going to make it known, hey, we're here and we're not happy about it. So that's what I would do if I was a Storm. Horsemen have had 30 days off, injury free. We haven't been hit in a while. We need that. So I'm hoping that they got it while I was at work these last 30 days. I'm hoping they got that, because if they didn't, the Storm's going to wake us up. They're going to give us that first hit. But we got the speed. They have the speed on the offense. Their wide receivers are very, very fast. We got the speed on them. We got the aggressiveness. We just need to bring it. So I think that first quarter is going to tell us a lot. First quarter and a half is going to tell us a lot. The Storm's not going to be happy. They're going to want to kill us. But if we see any weakness, whatever, do it as hard and as fast as you can, because the Storm will be damned if they go home without a trophy.
Yeah. You got to believe they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder, right? They're newish to the league. We've been around a while, so you got to believe they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder, and those kind of teams can be dangerous. And you talked about too in that game here with where they came to the Ford Idaho Center, Nampa, which is where we'll be July 1st, 7:00. There were some hits, and some of them were questionable.
Yep.
But they were making a statement. And we saw several players take high hits. And so, you don't forget that. I would imagine that you don't forget those hits. No. So fortunately, we saw Stokes kind of figure that out when he had that touchdown catch in the third quarter and was able to duck down and miss the high hit. But they are a violent team, and they don't make, mince any bones about it. They had their big offensive lineman running touchdowns last week as a running back. He caught a pass. Yanni, I will tell you, Yanni struggled a little bit in the kind of the middle quarters, but he looked strong in the fourth. So Matthew Yanni, and by the way, I think you were in that game with me when we couldn't figure out how to say his name properly. I did have a chance to talk to him, and he told me it's Yanni. So that's Yanni. What I'm calling him. So Matthew Yanni. But I mean, when he's on, he's crisp. But we have a quarterback in Austin Schaefer, man, that I don't know if you saw the numbers that the Horsemen put up, that he's strong, and he's the catalyst to this win to me. And every player is important. So I want to make sure we're clear on that. But the quarterback, obviously, they call him the quarterback of the team for a reason. And that's because I think it's pivotal. We got to make sure that the offensive line gives him time to do what he needs to do. So I think that's the key to the game. This is Jeff's key to the game. Is our offensive line has got to give Schaefer time to throw the ball, and also for him, he's also got to have that clock in his head, like you and I talked about. That when it comes to a certain point, he's got to find a escape route or get rid of the ball. So to me, that's the key to the game. Our offensive line have got to protect Schaefer, and then Schaefer's just got to be able to recognize when there's nothing there and get out. We've got fast receivers. We've got receivers with great hands. My gosh. Stokes we talked about Stokes. He practices behind the back catches in warm-ups. So
yeah, we have an athletic bunch. Like, we have a very, very dangerous offensive weapons, a lot of them. Yeah, I think you're right on the money. I think it's going to be the line and how they're working. Obviously, Schaefer, just seeing how he's doing. But like I said, I think the other thing, the big thing is 30 days off. Everybody's injury free.
Yep.
And haven't been hit in a while. They're relaxed. Whereas the other dog, I mean, they're hungry and beat. So I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I'd agree with you.
All right. I'm excited. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. I appreciate you joining me here. I know that you're going to go to practice tonight and watch some game film, and I look forward to your insight on Saturday. Can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a great show. Whether our fans are watching through Good Boy Studios, which you can buy your tickets at goodboystudios.com. I will tell you that I know a lot of the people, we have a new platform this game. You're not going to be able to share codes. So you will have to buy your tickets. And if you don't get them by Friday at midnight, they go up to $15.99. So they're early bird tickets right now, $9.99, same as it's been all season, if you go get them now. If you wait till Saturday morning, you're going to pay $15.99, and there's no sharing a code. So people will have to watch it. We will have the replay on afterwards for folks that can't make it. But I'm excited. But what we really need is butts in the seats, right?
Yes.
Got to have those fans, got them yelling and screaming. And every time we make an interception or touchdown, we need the place to go crazy. And that is gohorseman.com. You can get your tickets there. Click on the tickets. I see tickets. We want you there, and we want to fill this place. And my understanding is it's going to be a heck of a party if we win this thing. So I can't wait to see. And we will have a trophy presentation no matter which team wins. We'll have a trophy presentation after the game. And so make sure, folks, if you're watching through the streaming, that you key into that and watch the trophy presentation. And hopefully it's going to be the white and blue. Oh, I have a question. And tell me if you can tell me, great. If not, I understand. Do you know what uniforms we're wearing?
I do not.
Okay.
I was going to talk to Coach about it today. Usually we find out on game day is when we find out.
Okay.
But I do not. If it were up to me, I'd pick the uniform that we'd win with. Coming from a Denver Broncos perspective, we never wear orange in the Super Bowl ever again. Ever. It's always blue or white. Right. So that's what I do. I'm very I forget the word now. I'm talking about it. I'm very skeptical when it comes to things like that, but I don't know. We usually find out as we walk into the locker room. Superstitious. Thank you, sir. See,
yes.
That's why we're together.
Hey, that's right. We pick each other up. All right, he's Ryan Regis, number 14, kicker for the Idaho Horsemen. Unfortunately, he is injured, but he will be gracing you with his insight and his knowledge and his pipes, and joining me in the play-by-play booth Saturday, July 1st, 2023, from the Ford Idaho Center in Nampa, Idaho. Looking forward to it, my friend, and can't wait to see you, and just can't wait to go through this game and get this one in the books.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Thank you for everything. Thank you for having me. And yeah, Saturday, let's bring it. Everybody come on. Let's bring it.
I love it. All right. For Good Boy Studios, I'm Jeff Cullers. He's Ryan Regis. We'll see you Saturday night.
Later, guys.
This has been a Good Boy Studios production in association with the Idaho Horsemen. This video is the property of Good Boy Studios Productions.